Good evening. I'm Alicia Menendez in for Joy Reid. And we begin the readout tonight with the latest flashpoint in the COVID culture war. Required mandates for masks and vaccines. With President Biden today asking federal workers and contractors to get vaccinated or else face testing.
Every federal government employee will be asked to attest to their vaccination status. A mask is not a political statement. It's about protecting yourself and protecting others. Get vaccinated for yourself, for the people you love, for your country.
The move could spur private sector companies to take similar steps, which some already have. The same goes with masks, which are required again indoors in Washington, D.C., even for the fully vaccinated. It's the latest jurisdiction to change public health protocols since the CDC urged Americans to mask up again. While some Republican governors are refusing to budge. One of them is Greg Abbott of Texas, who says he will not impose new mask mandates, while at the same time ordering state troopers to pull over vehicles with migrants, saying it will stem COVID risk. An order the Department of Justice today told Abbott to rescind. Meanwhile, in Florida, another Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, is mocking the CDC guidance as his state reports over 16,000 new cases, the highest one-day total since mid-January when the vaccine was not widely available. And where a new variant discovered in Colombia is showing up in patients. Where's Governor DeSantis as all of this is happening? In Utah, speaking about a Faucian dystopia.
They should not be consigned to live, regardless of which state in the union, consigned to live in a Faucian dystopia in which we're governed by the whims of bureaucratic authorities who care little for our freedom, little for our aspirations, and little for our happiness. No more. We can't let it happen going forward.
Joining me now, Dr. Lippy Roy, Medical Director of COVID Isolation and Quarantine Sites for Housing Works in New York City, and Fernanda Mondi, Democratic pollster and an MSNBC political analyst. Good to see you both. Dr. Roy, I want to start with you. Let's start with the remarks from the president just hours ago, encouraging vaccinations for Americans, requiring them for federal employees and contractors. The president also discussed paid time off for vaccinations, asking states and cities to offer $100 vaccine incentives. From a public health perspective, is all of this going to put us on the path to having a sufficient number of Americans vaccinated?
Yeah, good to see you, Alicia. And yes, I really applaud President Biden's remarks. Implementing the full power of the U.S. federal government to maximize vaccinations. This is what we need to do. I mean, the power of the United States, just as a simple example, the Olympics, and how well this country is doing at the Olympics. I use that example is because it doesn't happen by accident. It requires preparation to achieve, for a public health good that's in the health interest and safety of everyone. You need the backing of the U.S. government from federal agencies. You heard about the VA, Veterans Administration, a few days ago. This is what needs to happen. It starts with leadership at the very top. And you heard the president talk about empathy. He said, let's do this together. Let's protect one another. And to use the backing of the federal government, that's exactly what needs to happen. And as a doctor, Alicia, and a public health advocate, I think you're going to hear a sigh of relief. It's one step, but people now need to follow these recommendations, Alicia.
Fran, let's talk about the leadership that Dr. Roy was just talking about, and let's talk about your state specifically, because along with the devastating numbers that we're seeing in Florida, we're hearing Baptist Health hospitals in Jacksonville say their hospitals are at maximum capacity, that emergency centers have reached a critical point. Meanwhile, your Governor Ron DeSantis, is in Utah, essentially on the trail, giving a speech at the American Legislative Exchange Council, mocking the CDC, reaffirming his continued resistance to mandates. How do you square the reality of what is happening in Florida with the governor's performance in Utah?
Well, Alicia, what's happening is a human tragedy unfolding before our very eyes. I'm actually on the ground right now here in Jacksonville, and it is a very tense scene. A lot of the cavalier attitudes we had seen before when it came to the virus that looked to be receding are now back. More people are wearing their masks. You see less folks outdoors. And I think a lot of that has to do with Ron DeSantis' disastrous approach. But really, kudos to President Biden, who today took control of a situation that even was harming him and his administration. Let's make no mistake. The success or failure of the Biden presidency You can even argue the success or failure for the United States is about containing the COVID virus. With the Delta variant spread, that was harming President Biden. How do we know that? Because his approval ratings were dropping and they were tracking his approval ratings on his handling of the virus. Today, though, as you heard Dr. Roy mention, they have reasserted control. These mandates on masks and vaccines for federal employees, I think, will start to set a tone. And how do we know this is working? Because in the state of Kentucky right now, Mitch McConnell, that's right, Republican Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is paying for ads out of his own pocket, begging the people of Kentucky to get their vaccines. This was long overdue. This was necessary. But I think Team Biden and the administration have now got it under control. And it's a huge contrast to the human tragedy that's happening in my home state of Florida.